Hello, Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is a fascinating and strong woman of faith whose living legacy is impacting the world. I will try to show you the courage and valuable contribution to mankind that is being made by this lady. How many of us have been given a prophecy of our life to be while we were yet infants? Answer: not very many. The old man took one look at her and pronounced to her mother and older sister, "This child will be great." President Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf is bringing positive change and stability to her native country of Liberia, and thus positively impacting both the continent of Africa and the world. During my time with you, I will share some of the highlights of this influential woman's life and her contributions to the world at large. To say that she is a strong and fascinating woman is an understatement. Her early years were happy and stable until her father suffered a stroke when she was 15 years old. Ellen was born October 29, 1938 in Monrovia, Liberia. She was the third of four children, one sister and two brothers. After her father suffered a stroke, the family's financial status changed for the worse. In 1956, at the age of 17, she graduated from high school and soon after married James Doc Sirleaf, a man 7 years her senior. She quickly became the mother of four boys. Later in her marriage, her husband, who was an agricultural graduate of Tuskegee Institute in America, landed a position with the Ministry of Agriculture in Liberia. President Sirleaf started out doing various jobs, one of which would pique her interest in the world of finance. She continued to long for further education, but there was no money available for this desire. When her husband received a scholarship to pursue a master's degree in agriculture in the United States, Madam Sirleaf, along with her mother, began a pleadful campaign for a scholarship for herself as well. Her life was forever changed when she did receive a scholarship to study business at Madison Business College in Madison, Wisconsin. She later achieved a bachelor's degree from the University of Colorado in 1970, and in 1971 she obtained a master's degree in public administration from Harvard University. She returned to Liberia and began a career in politics. She first served her nation as the first female Minister of Finance from 1972 to 1973. When Samuel Doe seized power in 1980, he began a government purge. This caused Madam Sirleaf to choose exile in Kenya to avoid death. When Mr. Doe unbanned political parties in 1984, she returned to Liberia. In the 1985 presidential elections, she campaigned against Mr. Doe and was placed under house arrest. She was later sentenced to 10 years in prison and spent a short time incarcerated before being allowed to leave the country again. While in exile, she served as the vice president of both Citibank and HSCB Equator Bank. Her personal life was in as much shambles as her political life. Coming from a very male-dominated and abusive society, in spite of her academic and political achievements, she suffered in silence all of the emotional, verbal, and physical abuse that her husband heaped upon her. In her words, this was simply part of life. She states that although Liberian women had long worked outside of the home and even held positions of prominence in the government and were honored in general as mothers and aunts, they were not regarded as the equals of men. She soon had to make the gut-wrenching and anxiety-ridden decision to divorce her husband. In her society, this meant she would lose her sons because the children belonged to the father first and foremost, according to them. Later in their lives, she and her sons were reunited in peace and love, and she is also the grandmother of 6. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf has, despite many odds against us, lived up to the old man's prophecy of her being a child of greatness. She has served her country and humanity in many capacities. From 1992 to 97, she served as Assistant Secretary General of the United Nations. There was much political chaos and upheaval in the nation of Liberia. Taking her life in her hands during those times, she played an active role in Liberia's transitional government. In 2005, she ran for president of her homeland against a man, a very popular soccer star, and she won. She was declared and confirmed as the first elected female head of state in Africa on November 23, 2005. Ellen Johnson-Sirleaf was inaugurated on Monday, January 16, 2006. Her inauguration was attended by both former United States First Lady Laura Bush and former United States Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice. Since taking office, she has appointed many women to her cabinet, and they are working loyally and tirelessly to clean up Liberia's government. America has always had close ties with Liberia and was instrumental in its formation in 1817 and its declaration of independence on July 26, 1847. President Sirleaf, since taking office, has had $391 million in debt canceled by the United States. Called by her people as Ama, she has sworn to listen to them, to protect them, and to see to their needs. Realizing that her people have been mistreated for so long by corrupt leaders who only have their own interests at heart, President Sirleaf works unceasingly to better their lives. She is known as the Iron Lady, the Iron Fist in the velvet glove, and she has to be both compassionate and tough. There are still elements in Liberia who seek to topple her and her government. In her inauguration speech, after praising and thanking Almighty God for his guidance, she led the attendees in a moment of silent prayer in memory of the thousands of Liberians who had died as a result of Liberia's conflict. She then pledged her personal involvement in the work before them of reconciling and healing their nation. She ended her speech by saying, "We are a good people, and we are a kind people. We are a forgiving people and a God-fearing people. So let us begin anew, moving forward into a future that is filled with hope and promise. In union strong, success is sure. We cannot fail. God bless us all and save the Republic." I thank you.